My name is Teresa Lockwood. I reside in Vineland, New Jersey, and I am going to talk about my childhood. Oh, and I'm going to involve basically the Ten Commandments. So, or different parts of the Ten Commandments, because there's been exchange or expression. I'm sorry, expression of teachings around the Ten Commandments. There has been a war regarding me defending the Ten Commandments, and other people, false ministers who are persecuting me, attacking the Ten Commandments, and ranting off with all their false claims of it, being abolished, being, how do I say this? The old covenant, whatever label they want to put on it and things like that. I have no idea or understanding about the Ten Commandments. Not even spiritually. I've taught people that, like, the Ten Commandments are the core laws within our conscience, period, that basically preserves and saves lives. Okay? So, and that is actually used in responses to many circumstances, encountering with people, whether they believe so or not. Excuse me. And I've actually encountered this and taught this to atheists, and who claim that they don't believe in religion and all these other things or whatever. And I would present to them. I said, "So, how would you respond if somebody came into your house and, when they went to rob you, they want to take your wife against your will and destroy your family, your children, etc." I'm just gonna say etc. You get the picture. And they said, "Yeah." I was just like, "Would you have a problem with that? Would you be against that?" They're like, "Yeah." So your yes, they would type it yes. I don't know if there's a particular yeah, but it was basically mostly in. I have had that conversation in person just a couple of times in my city, but mostly I use that expression to teach the law of the conscience and the core being centered in the Ten Commandments. That is within all of us. Okay, so the thing is, I should start this over because I'm kind of distracted right now. Anyway, so the thing is like I said, yeah, all the defensive to would be against adultery, would be against murdering your family, protecting your property, and against other people's coveting, which actually is the root cause of basically taking people's lives, okay, and destroying and violating people's rights. I said all those are basically the fulfillment of the Ten Commandments, an action taken against the person to prevent them, to protect the rights of your family. Okay, so the thing is, as I said, you are responding. Those Ten Commandments are written in the core of you. Okay, so yeah, there would be people out there that wouldn't do that. Okay, they are wicked. Okay, so regardless, is I try to explain these things to atheists who said they're against religion. I was like, religion isn't everyone. So this is the thing. People have there many stories. Like there's horror stories in churches. Okay, and no, they don't keep Ten Commandments because they don't love God. They don't love Jesus. And all these things. And yes, you know what? It may come into play if somebody else violated their family. Okay, that's very interesting. But the thing is just that they're so indifferent. A majority of them is so indifferent to it being done to other people. And especially when many of them are protecting their false minister who was committing all these abominations and things like that. It's really, really terrible. But the thing is, it's like, I teach Ten Commandments. I taught the Sabbath, and they were, there's people, William Clay, Frank Apollo, warn against me about the Sabbath, and they have all their questions and things like that. And then they're talking about, how they grew up or whatever. It's revolved around me starting, well, when I was a child, this is my experience, this is what I've been taught, this is whatever. So it's being echoed, strangely, from the cult that is persecuting me. Now, I'm not saying that they won't engage in basically the same response and basically reflecting that. But they basically condemned me, by the way, for, well, they just made up a rule, anything that I said or did. So condemned me for past or whatever and all these things, and made up all these just false knowledge or whatever to oppress anything that I said or did. So anyway, the thing is, it's just that, so this minister, William Clay, he's going on, how he grew up, and now he's, I don't know, it's basically very conflicting. I'm not even, I don't know, I can't focus on that. But the thing is I decided to, oh, and they basically said all my teachings I teach now is basically from childhood. No, it isn't. I did not grow up with teachings of the Ten Commandments. And I was in the churches and private schools most of my life, childhood life. So I'm trying to find a comfortable spot to rest my arm. So, the thing is basically, okay, I was adopted, okay, to these people who abandoned me to their cult, abusive family. The thing is, when I was a child, around the age of 9, everything, there was nothing that was ever questionable, okay, and everything seemed to be so perfect, okay, and they was, I mean, most of my childhood life, I just played outside. I was a woods child, mainly with my brother, a woods child. And me and him basically just ran through the whole neighborhood and woods. And then go sit there and talk about that, because that was pretty awesome. That was the best times of my life. And the thing is I'm going to throw in there like the Sabbath, because so the parents that adopted us, okay, me and my 2 siblings, had 2 children afterwards, biologically. So, but at the time, I did not know I was adopted. I believe that these people were my parents. They were never aggressive. So the thing is that, but there was no guardianship hardly. There's not really much any rules whatsoever. We weren't like disobedient or bad children or what have you, or anything like that, or we just followed. When it was dinner time, you ate dinner. When it was this time, you did this and whatever. And there was not a question if there was a rule or a law or what have you. Now there was like some where they would come against us. I'll sit there and bring up an issue, a circumstance or whatever. It was mainly my brother. He was a bit rambunctious, and he did all kinds of things. Now she was never aggressive. She was neglectful, not nurturing, and things like that or whatever. Just very nonchalant, not cold or anything like that. Just non-communicative and non-dealing with reality, because when things came up, it was just very avoidant. Like, she avoided everything, just about everything, to answer anything a kid had an answer to or whatever. But when it came to my brother would climb on the roof. Get down from there! Neighbors are going to see you! Type deal, And we would always play through the woods, and my brother was always trying to find a way to build a new fort. And we had all kinds of different forts, and sometimes, yes, he would have to get yelled at, "You cannot build that there!" Because we would build a fort between the house and the shed, leaning boards on the fence. So we built tree houses throughout the woods. We built teepee. My brother was a great teepee fort builder out of wood. Okay, now we just moved in a development in Georgia, and so I'm actually going to see if I can look that up while I'm talking. I don't know if I can get to it in time, but I do have a photo of it. So the thing is that, I don't know if I can get, I don't know if I have it, so, okay, yeah, I have it organized, titled, okay, alright, so, this is a 608 Cedarwood Court, and this is between the ages of about, 4 or 5 to about 9 years old. I took a picture of it. Oh, this is there. Okay. So, let me get that all on there. Alright? I lived right there. You see this? Now, when the development started to be built, we actually visited there. We were staying somewhere I don't remember or recall. But while the house was being built, and I remember it being built, and, you know, I mean, there was like mud and bricks, and to a child that is fun. You know, I mean, clay bowls and things like that. So when the development started, it was interesting because there was, you see this cut off right here? This was a dirt road, and this was all woods back here. The only roads that existed was this road. Oops, yep, this road. All right, this, which is another circle over here. This circle, and then this half street all the way up to here. Okay? And I remember a woman that lived there. She was funny, and she would call my so-called mother, Fanny. Her name was Franny. So this, we called the Pizza Hut house, right? It was being built. It was not finished. And when it was being built, it looked like a Pizza Hut shape or whatever. So, we would play all the time in this circle here, right? All the time. And, bikes and, you know, skating. And the thing is, we had a couple bikes, but I didn't have my own roller skates. But the roller skates we borrowed from this, which was our brother and sister. Okay, and I was friends with these people over here, the Galulis. These were the Washingtons. I had a friend at the end of the street here. Okay, I can't remember her name because for years I've confused it with another person I met. But her sister's name was Teresa, and I actually didn't know. But her dad was a cop, but I didn't know that until I fell out of the car. Yes. Coming home from church, I actually fell out of the car. Okay, so it was really, really terrible. But I only seen her dad twice. I wasn't allowed in the house when no parents were there, so they would be there, whatever, and I would talk to her, and we would sit in her back porch sometimes, or on the front or whatever, and you know. And play. And she got in trouble one time because she let me come in so I can play Mousetrap with her. Yes. And so her dad didn't really say anything. I just got a glimpse of them, like, you know, because they had like a playroom or whatever area. It was like actually in this front area. So the thing is that, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to jump to my dad. My dad worked a lot. I hardly see him. When I did, of course, like every child, well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Then I'm going to put that in my video, but I might have to do part 2 because I don't know if I can put all this in. But, you know, he was dad, you know, he was something great, and, you know, he was cool because he had 8 tracks in his car, and he had a T-top, and he listened to country gospel music, and, well, anyway... so I'm just gonna start in Saturday mornings. Was the day that he stayed home and he cleaned. Now, the thing is, when we were not in school, I remember impatiently sitting there like the rest of us. There was 5 of us children, having to wait till 8 o'clock to go outside. Why can't we go outside? Because you wake up the whole neighborhood and people are sleeping. So sometimes we were let out, but we had to, excuse me, play. And this was all woods. Remember this. This was all woods. So all of this used to be woods. Now it's a development back here. So we would have to stay on this side and play in this area. Ooh. So they just faded out. So, and play in this area. Now, back here, a ways back here was this big, gigantic tree. Okay? And it was the tree. Let's go to the tree. The tree, the tree, the tree. Okay? Strangely, my sister, Donna, called me Tree. So, yes. So, why don't you call me by my name? And she sits there and she'll say, Teresa Pizza. I do not know why, but that's what she did. This is Teresa. She went from Tree to Teresa. And she was the oldest. And so the thing is that we were, another place we would go was behind these woods. Back here behind this house was all woods. And there was a lot of woods, you know. And then like a while, you had to walk a while through the woods, and there was a dirt road with another neighborhood, okay, which we weren't supposed to go there, so I don't know. We went halfway through the woods. So one time we walked to the end. My brother's like, come on, what? I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be there. So, you know, anyway. So the thing is that there was this tree. And I actually did have an experience with God, a vision of God around that tree. And it was very, very strange. I had no words to express it or tell anyone. So the thing is that at the top of this tree, we would climb. And my brother said, that is your seat. That is where you sit, right? And he would climb higher. But there wasn't much higher or whatever. But he had this higher branch. But this tree was very strange because it actually went like this, like a seat. Right? And he said, you just sit there. Now, I wasn't really a tree climber. My brother made me climb these trees and made me do these things. Now, I'm not like aggressively or forcibly or anything or what have you. But he was the leader. Okay? So, anytime. Anyway, the thing is, there was boards. The thing is, a lot of these houses were half built, being built. Okay, so this development is being built, and there was boards and nails and hammers and things like that, like all over the place all the time. So, the thing is, we weren't allowed to walk around through all this area or whatever, but we did anyway. So it wasn't really enforced or anything like that or whatever. So, and I just want to throw this in here or whatever. But see, this is where, look. See, I would ride my bike up and down here, around the cul-de-sac, up and down, right? And that's where I basically started riding two wheels on my bike, because my brother's like, you're riding on two wheels. Like, I had training wheels, right? And they like kicked up and I'm riding down the street, right? I'm like, really? So I'm sitting there, come back. It's like, yeah, you're riding on two wheels. And my brother's telling our dad or whatever to take the training wheels off or whatever. So he takes the training wheels off or whatever. I was like, go. I don't know. I was never taught to ride the bike. I just believed I was riding on two wheels. So I get on the bike and I go down the street. I'm like, yeah. I'll come back. Yeah. And it was like that. There was two bikes. So I was riding back and forth. We had a banana seat bike with the little flowers or whatever, with the little, you know, these handlebars that go up like this or what have you, where we ride and put each other and sitting on the handlebars and ride each other and things like that. And then there was this other one that was like red and white. I think it was like a Schwinn or something, but it had an S on it, so I think that's what it was. Not sure. So it was just like, you know, little kids bike or whatever. I had to throw all that in there. So, yeah, so I just got this thought. It just randomly just popped in my head. So I'm just going to put that in there too. So, yeah, we, you know, we were always actually the poorest people in the neighborhood. We didn't have the toys. We didn't have any of these things or what have you. We were quite content, quite happy. Didn't question if we needed or had to have these toys or anything like that or whatever. I mean, we had a few things or whatever. You know, I mean, I had a rag doll and I had, we all had matching rag dolls, and I did get a Cabbage Patch once from, you know, us siblings got one, us sisters, whatever, got these all Cabbage Patch Kids from these other people. I don't know if that was from my aunt would give us, like, you know, these things or whatever. So we had a few things or whatever. You know, she would make dresses and she would come in and they would actually be hanging on the side door right here, hanging sometimes when we came home from church or whatever. And Daddy made us dresses, you know. So, I love that woman. She was like my mother, and she really was. And so anyway, Saturday mornings. Now, I'm going to have to make a part 2 to this. This is 20 minutes. Saturday mornings. No, we didn't have like a Sabbath. Look, Sabbath was not hardly mentioned, but there was like Sunday worship, Sunday. Okay, so I didn't know about things like, you know, the 10 Commandments. I had no idea. I had no knowledge about those things. Or anything like that. Like stealing, lying. Those things didn't exist. I didn't ever even knew that they even existed. There was no such thing. So, now, I realized later down the road that the mother is a pathological liar. But when I'm a child at this time, I knew nothing about those things. Now, she hardly spoke. So to sit there, you know, to recognize if she lied or not at the time or whatever, I know she basically lied when she abandoned me. Okay? So that was my first experience of her lying, but that was actually, I'm trying to think if that was first. I think this is when we lived in Martinez, Georgia. Okay? Right there. Alright, so this used to be all woods back here in a lake. I used to bring my dog there, running through the trails and stuff. I would actually go up this way and walk down here and go into the woods. Okay, no, wait, was it? I think it was this way because there was a difference of trails or something like that, because I remember it was being further up. But I had a friend across the street, and this house at the corner, had a pecan tree, and that might still be the pecan tree. I'm not sure, but there was a trail, dirt road. The dirt road went up here, and this was filled. I don't know if it's still pecan trees, but it was or is filled and had all pecan trees. And this road would be loaded with pecan trees, and I'd always be walking around in my dress with pecans in my dress all the time. Okay, so yes, so this was, like I said, this was all woods, and there was actually a dried up lake back there. It had like a little water in the bottom, but it went down deep or whatever. So, you know, somebody said it was drained and it was a lake back there, you know. So anyway, yeah, this was all woods, and so me and my friend across the street, we would walk around and down this path a lot, okay, and play in her backyard a lot, okay. My brother would actually build a fort in that tree. So the thing is that yeah, okay. So Saturday mornings, we would go outside, okay. And the thing is, we had to stay outside. Now, it wasn't like an enforcing thing. It was just like, okay, 8 o'clock, go outside, play, whatever. So, you know, the dad could clean. And he dusted everything. So, near the door, I would sit in front of the door and on the front porch and watch him clean. I remember him dusting his console every Sunday. And it was like one of those old-fashioned consoles with the vinyl record player and the 8-track and the places underneath where it held all the records and, you know, 8-track storage and all these other things, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, from like the 70s, I guess, or something. So, so a Sabbath, no. I never learned about a Sabbath. Now, so I never acknowledge or accept that. I mean, I'm sure they basically taught, you know, honor your mother and your father and things like that. I didn't have any concept of it really then until I was actually abandoned. Well, actually, I found out years down the road that the adopted dad did not know that I was abandoned to New Jersey. He disappeared. My brother disappeared. I did not know where they went. No explanation. No anything. And I'm in Georgia with this woman, Fran, and my sister, my two sisters and brother. And so I found out. And then shortly after I was abandoned, like I said, years down the road, he actually did not know that I was in Jersey when he went to Jersey, and I was abandoned to the Fran's parents, who was abusive foster parents. Now, they weren't like abusive aggressively, like with the belt or whatever. The grandfather was a pedophile. It was really, really sad because I really, really loved my grandpa. It's really, really terrible. So when I was actually when we were going to New Jersey from Georgia and traveling, the so-called mother, lied to me. They all lied to me and said, well, I'm coming up to, Jersey with them. We're going to go to Disney World. I didn't know what that was. We're going to go to Disney World, and you're going to come, and we're going to have fun with us, in New Jersey, and come to my house, and all these things or whatever, and then, my mother is going to come get me. Well, that never happened. Well, later, 2 years down the road, something like that, or they came or whatever. Well, no, a year. No, there was a year, and then about a year, and then I went back. And then we all moved up to New Jersey is what happened. Okay, so the thing is that she never called me, talked to me, on the phone or did anything or whatever. It was just like there was nothing. I still didn't know where my brother is, who my brother was, like, for a while. And then eventually he shows up at this house. And I'm like, where were you? Where did you come from, So, anyway, the thing is there was the dad who apparently, what the story was, and I've asked him, like, later on, years down the road, apparently he was told that there was a job in New Jersey and they were going to sell the house and come to New Jersey. This is what he was told. So he was left and stayed in New Jersey having this job or whatever. And it just didn't work out that way. And she wanted to get rid of them, the dad and us, me and my brother. It's really what it came down to. And so, but she lied and deceived. He was just vulnerable and naive, very nice. So the thing is that, they were separated. They never really got back together. But apparently he was in New Jersey, and I was enrolled in a school, and in that school, I'm actually going to end with this because I'm going to tell this, and I'm going to sit there and jump to honor your father and mother, honor your parents. Because there's actually really important issues around that. So I'm actually going to end with that here. There was something else I was going to say, but I kind of lost track because I said that. It happens. I could probably recall on it, but I'm just going to take up time or whatever. It's just about 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes already. So I'm going to end with that here, and I'm actually going to talk about honoring your father and your mother and how I encountered that, which was actually a very, very horrible way of encountering this. But there is light in it, and I'm going to explain that on my next video.